Hey, it's Nina.
And Ashley back with the bullshit.
And this is the Young and Gettin It podcast. Just so you know, you can find us on Apple Podcasts. Just search Young and Gettin It podcast. There's no G at the end of Gettin because we're young millennials, so we're going to slang it out. Please subscribe, rate, and review, and thank you for all of the reviews so far. You can also find us on soundcloud.com/WeAreYAGIP. Please follow, comment. We love commenting, and thank you for everyone out on these random countries that were like, how?
and
how?
whose names we can't pronounce.
Yeah, for listening. We really appreciate you. We're also on YouTube, as you can see us. Just search Young and Gettin It podcast. There is no G at the end of Gettin, so please get it right. Please subscribe, comment, and thank you for all the views and comments so far.
And you can also find us on Instagram at YAGI_podcast. And you can also reach out to us on our website or on our email and Google Voice number. Website is www.weareYAGIP.com. Google Voice is 323-486-3811. And the email is ashleyandninapod@gmail.com. Back to the bullshit.
So as you can see, we're out on location, or you'll hear by the vehicle passing behind me at this right moment.
Streets.
We are in Los Angeles, and we have some special guests with us today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Angelo Diaz, a.k.a. cubagawd on all the little social medias,
Yes.
IG being my favorite little social media. It's spelled G-A-W-D, God. Can you say God?
God.
Like
God.
Yeah, keep it.
Say
Spell that one more time.
G-A-W-D, C-U-B-A-G-A-W-D. That's cubagawd.
Yeah, Cuba God.
I act, I write, and I produce, and I am currently the lead actor on TVOne's ATL.
Okay.
Lead, okay.
Doing that thing. Okay, I see you.
Just doing my little
Okay,
walk.
and our next special guest and his handsome son.
What's happening? I go by the name of stayflythrash. I'm owner of Thrash Style House, which is the venue that we're in right now.
We are here.
I am a jack of many trades, but I'm mainly known in the fashion world. I got the young guard right here, Royal Thrash. Y'all can follow him on Instagram at Royal Thrash.
Yeah.
My Instagram
Follow,
is
baby.
stayflythrash.
Okay.
Thrash is my real name.
You said it's your real name?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, really?
I really didn't think it was.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
Real nigga shit.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Thrash.
Go get it.
Thrash the Sartorial Rockstar. You can
Yes.
pre-order this.
Yes.
Pre-order
Yes.
now. If you're lucky, you can get it signed by Royal Thrash. The next up in line, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And our third special guest.
Thank you. I am Frank with prettyflysociety. That's at prettyflysociety. Also at CreateCan, CR8 CAN. And then my personal one is at Franck Mille. That's FRANCK _MILLE.
Yes.
I host, I creatively direct, promote, still do a lot of events around the country. And I still got dope friends.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what we do.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Okay, so, our podcast is about, being a young millennial, running to your dreams, and
Working
hustling
through the struggle.
So as a quick background of us, just so you know our background, some of our guests know, some don't. I'm 100% Nigerian, and so I grew up in that household where homework is not a game, and you need to have good grades all the time. So my parents kind of pushed me, and it's very interesting to be pushed into really good paths, but then during that time realize
I don't like this shit. To put it simply.
well paid paths, they pay great.
Yeah.
But to then actually start to join my journey. So I started with my bachelor's in biochemistry. I used to want to be a doctor, but then after working in a hospital and studying for the MCAT, I was like, no,
I feel you.
not me. Plus, I want to have a family, and you can't be around your kids all the time when you're working as a doctor. That's just, everyone knows that, And so I actually became a biochemist shortly, and then became a laboratory operations specialist at a hospital. In between, I've always been waitressing. Right now, I'm sitting, I got my master's in finance, just finished recently, and right now I'm sitting for my chartered financial analyst exam. In the meantime, I plan to continue to waitress and about to start substitute teaching since I just got my results back from that exam. So when he said jack of all trades, I was like, Yeah, that's exactly it. And I was just talking to a friend yesterday about like, how do you tell people that you want to do a lot of stuff? Because people naturally will think that you're full of shit when it's like, we're actually just really young and vibrant. And these are the years where we need to be working multiple jobs at a time. I watched my dad basically my whole life work 3 jobs. And if you think about it, if you work a certain amount of jobs, you will reach the pay that you want to work until you can just work for yourself. So I'm just basically on that journey, trying to get licenses and trying to be an entrepreneur, trying to be a financial analyst, trying to follow the stock market, trying to literally do everything. And it's fun.
And then I am 100% black, 100% slavery, because my ancestors definitely were slaves. Like, my parents are from the South, so I know that shit happened. But my parents also pushed me, too, to get an education because they felt like, you know, that was, like, the right way to go. And so I got my bachelor's in neuroscience, and I subbed for a few years afterwards because I couldn't figure out what to do. And at one time, I had 3 jobs. It was a struggle, but, you know, I had to do it, had to get it done. I still work in the hospital.
Okay.
And I hate it. Right now, I'm a certified neurophysiologist. So all that means is, like, when somebody's having brain surgery, maybe even a heart surgery, or like they have some type of vascular issue that they need to have handled, I monitor their brain and make sure like they wake up the same way they went to sleep. Sometimes it doesn't go as planned, and you have patients almost die. You have patients wake up paralyzed. You have patients wake up and they had a stroke, or they had seizures during the operation, so they aren't the same as they went in. But I am that preventative layer. And so I work with a lot of doctors close hands. So as Nina was saying, you don't get to see your family. That's very true. But the supporting staff also doesn't really get to see their family either, because I don't have anybody come give me a break. So if the surgery is 12 hours, I'm there 12 hours.
Damn.
Yeah, if my day is 18 hours, it's 18 hours. You get a break when you get your break.
That's crazy.
So I hate it. But I'm still doing it because, like, I need money. Shit. Until I finish my master's. Right now, I'm currently getting my master's in computer science, specifically software engineering. So after I finish getting that, get my feet wet in the IT world, computer world, and get like a little bit of footing and know what I'm doing, and then I'm going to quit my job because, you know, IT pays equally as well, but you can work from home.
And that's what
I'm trying to do.
And that's what capitalism is. You know, you just work, and they let go of you when they feel like it, so you can leave when you feel like it.
Yeah.
And, you know, millennials are known for being a little bit flighty too, so we fall right in line with that, and just trying to reach our goals. And we want to know your guys' journey, your guys' path to get to where you are now and what your goals are for the future. Angelo?
But damn, we didn't know where to start.
Like,
we about to
how do I
jump in
follow
right when you were gonna say that's real freedom. You know what I mean? Is that independence? Because other than that, you're a slave. You know what I mean? And this is crazy to be able to do this podcast here in Thrash Style House. Like, you understand? Like, the history that's right here is over 10 years. Yeah. My man was doing this in the dorm room. You know what I mean? Like, putting his clothes out and cutting hair in the dorm room back when it was $5 a haircut. Yeah. And motherfuckers coming to Thrash like, bro, this the belt? This the belt? Not this one? I bet. You know what I'm saying? So now to see him in his own space in downtown LA, styling the stars and styling big music video sets and big movies. Yeah.
Being in big videos too, yeah.
That's a fact.
How'd you get into acting?
I've been acting my whole life. So basically I was in a transitional point in life, so I had to basically kind of, in a way, put everything in paper in front of me and say, what was I good at during this path? What was I good at in this past? What was I terrible at in this journey? Right. Just find out what it all was. And it was all just acting. It was just acting. It was just connecting with people. Yeah. Being able to connect. That's all acting is.
And it's kind of like similar to what we were talking about. It's like you have to dabble, see where you weren't doing well, see where you were doing well, see where your passion and your love is, and from that, find the right avenue. Because if you think about it, all of us could do multiple things. But it's like what sparks you the most and what brings you the most joy, and obviously what brings in a paycheck. But I know you're trying to be humble, that part.
You ain't gonna be humble when them bills due.
Okay.
Like,
shit. I don't need a humble paycheck when the bills due. I need a non-humble paycheck when the bills are due.
Be gluttonous when it's time
I
to
feel
pay
like that's
bills.
the hardest part is like trusting the process.
Yes. Yeah. So how did you not fall off? Like, how did you keep trusting the process? Because I hear like so many horror stories about people acting, especially like black males, and getting acting roles and not just specifically only being typecasted for one thing.
being in your own bag is what helps the most with that anxiousness that comes with. What's the answer? Like you waiting on somebody who's waiting on somebody who's waiting on a room full of people who's waiting on the check to clear. So you'll go crazy like just waiting. So you got to be in your own bag.
Yeah.
Not only that, it just makes you stand out, and I feel like that's the answer for like most creatives, not just actors. But it makes you stand out because in any suit, you know what I mean, whether it be an A&R or a producer or a network or whatever, they don't know what to do with you. You know what I mean? That as complex as being Nigerian and being from the South and everything you have going on, the walking conundrum that you are, they don't necessarily know what to do with that. So you got to show them.
Right.
And then once they have it, they're willing to invest in it once you're able to quantify it.
Yeah.
But they don't know what to do with it.
So did you have to go through like a million interviews of getting rejected and like, you know, a lot of people tend to give up once they hit a certain level of rejection. You know, they hear it so many times that they're like, it wasn't meant for me. So how do, and I'm sure, you know, a lot of people go through this, how do you keep going when you realize that you have received a lot of no's? Is it just believing in yourself? Is it just work ethic? Is it a multitude of things?
With acting, what it is having fulfillment outside of acting, period. Like, even though it's a craft that you love, you can't really define yourself by what success you have within that lane. So you got to walk into the audition room. I say audition room because these days a lot of stuff is just on self-tape. But you want to walk into that, even on tape, that energy bleeds out of your pores. Like, you can feel that desperation. So you got to walk in the room fulfilled. Like, I don't need this. I would love this role. It would be great. The money would be great. This is the type of stuff I've always wanted to do. And blase.
Don't be desperate.
I don't need it. Yeah.
That's a very
So
good
like those
you're
girls
able
that
to
go to the
play.
hotel rooms just because they want to get a video shoot or hotel shoot, and they go to the video room and it ends up being a porno.
Yeah.
Instead of like what they actually want to
Yeah, you can be thirsty. I mean, and to bring it back, I mean, that R. Kelly shit, it was a lot of people are blaming the parents because it seemed like the parents were just thirsty to have their child be successful. Not necessarily thirsty for themselves, but they were thirsty for their child to make it to where they were aware that this man liked 14-year-olds, but they still let their daughter, their 14-year-old, hang out with him, you know? So it's like, I think, and there's a lot of people who say that, like, they made it through, but they had to avoid all the obstacles of the Harvey Weinsteins and all these people who want something out of you. And I mean, just being a woman in general, it's so easy for us to believe it just because we look back of being in high school and like older men, we didn't know shit, but like older men, 20s, 30s. I remember being 18 and meeting a 35-year-old who lied about his age just to like come to find out he was a pimp. Thank God I never hung out with him. But it's like,
I could have got real bad. I could have got real bad
That's
for
the
you.
thing. It's like it got dark so quick.
For sure.
I'm 18 walking around Ontario Mills Mall looking for a job, and it's like I'm so young I don't know shit, but luckily like I just don't trust people. Yeah. Luckily. Because it was like from what he was saying, he seemed legit, but I didn't trust it, and then found out he was a pimp. You know, they target people who are very young age because they know they can manipulate us, you know? Yeah. You know, so it is hard in the industry, and I feel like there's been a couple times with this podcast where people tried things, but luckily we're just a little older. And so we can see bullshit from a mile away. And that's why when you hit us up, I was like, he's the real deal. He's a professional, you know. And that really does matter because especially this is considered entertainment, a new form of entertainment. Podcasting has just blown up pretty recently. With that comes all the little scams and the little side things.
And people just trying to think, people thinking they're more important than they are.
Yeah.
So like we'll have people like, oh, can we be on your podcast? And we're like, okay, for why? What?
Yeah, just give us something.
What are you going to tell us? What are you going to add to it? Because if you're not adding to it, I don't want you on here because, for one, you're going to talk about stuff I don't care about. And then, two, I'm going to have to do a lot of editing.
Yeah.
I don't feel like
we have done that before.
Yeah, we've had to do that in the beginning stages, like when we weren't sure of what type of guest to have, and we were just like, oh well, let's just like do it, and then we were like,
trying to figure out our flow. Same like as growing in an industry, you do have to figure out your flow. You have to figure out what works for you, and as young people, we're literally in the midst of that right now, figuring out what works for us. And there's a lot of people that if they're approached by people who are fugazi, for lack of better words, it could be a discouragement to them. So we have seen, especially in the podcasting game, because we made a point to, you know, collaborate with other podcasts and get to know people and see where people's goals are at, you know, and if they are serious about this, and if they are serious about being successful in general or promoting the Black community and helping the Black community in general. And we have seen people bow out of doing podcasting in general just because it didn't work out the way they wanted. They heard no's. It's like, we've heard no's, you know, that's part of it. Like, the worst answer you could get is a no, if you think about it. So you have to kind of expect that to come. So, and we always emphasize to our listeners, it's like, do not give up. If you think about it, since, you know, kindergarten to now, all we have been doing is hustling, but somehow we made it to where we are today, a relative level of success. So if you keep hustling and you keep moving, in the future, you should be even further at a relative level of success.
I mean, the only direction time goes is forward, so you might as well keep trying.
Yeah. And Frank, you're Angelo's manager, and you do a whole bunch of stuff. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Well, the funny thing is, the Nigerian part is funny. My partner is Nigerian, so when you start talking about like grades, etc., he's the same way. His parents don't support him like that much at all, though. Like, because he won't do like his other brothers. Yeah, I mean, his other brothers and sisters, they all like got jobs, say like in techs, and he always wanted to do videography and photography, and he got really good at it, and folks never. So me and him always talking. He'll like divulge that information to me, but the management thing sort of happened because he just sort of happened. Like he became who he became, and he knew what he knows what I do. I graduated from college like you all did. I graduated with a bachelor's in sociology, Charleston Southern University. It's in South Carolina.
Is Charleston? Is Charleston in South?
South Carolina.
South. Okay, sorry. I've been having that struggle.
I'm glad we're able to clear that up.
Yeah, for sure. I took and then after I graduated, I took a couple business management classes, but I went and played basketball overseas in Krakow, Poland for a little while. And once I realized that making $30,000, $35,000 to play basketball and put your body through that, I was like, oh yeah, this ain't gonna be it. So I came back because they got somebody else better than me. I came back.
Who knew it was $30K, man? Right, they be playing us.
Yeah, them dudes. Yeah, that's disrespectful. Well, think about it now, guys. This is 2009, 2010.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Where money is money.
Yeah. Where money is money. Right?
Yeah, it's different. But I mean, you as a basketball player, you get it a little bit differently. So it's not like over a 12-month span. You getting that a lot quicker than someone who make 30 gets it over 12.
Like write you a check, like here you go.
Or it's like bigger checks. Checks for shorter periods of time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Fresh out of college, that's...
Yeah, now I'm fresh out of college. Exactly. So I graduated high school when I was 16. So I always was with like... I was always with like business, and I was always with just like making sure that my... Like, especially Angelo and Thrash, making sure they both know, like, don't quit, like, for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny that y'all do a podcast like that, but my whole life is like that. I'll never forget, we went down to Miami, the first time I went to Miami. And we got back from Miami, I quit my job. Just because I saw what life was. I was like, oh, there's more to life than this. And when being a military brat, I grew up a lot of places. The last place that I grew up, I was in a little-ass town in South Carolina. And God, oh God, those people don't think they could do anything. Like, they don't, it's like outside of that city, you're not going much further. So you all live in like big California, et cetera, et cetera. We like being from the country and living in the country. The aspirations of people aren't like that. So what ultimately wound up taking place was after Angelo got picked up by TVOne, he hollered at me like, yo, I don't really trust nobody else like that to take care of my career but you. So I want you to start watching Entourage. So I started watching Entourage to see how that relationship went. But then ultimately he was like, you don't really got to watch much of it. Just be yourself, because you know, just like we're here now. You see what I'm saying? So I got real big into ownership. I'm real big about ownership.
Yep.
Me and him have a mentality where it's like, we'll go back. And when I say we'll go back to doing whatever we were doing before, just so we won't, one, sell our soul for anything.
Right.
And then for two, ever feel like we're captured by anything. So if I felt like, if it's me, if I feel the same way you felt at work, like I would be gone already.
Oh no, Nina has already said it several times.
Yeah,
She's
exactly.
like, I would have quit. So like,
I'm out.
Yeah.
I got the fuck out.
The reason I haven't quit is because there's still some parts of it that I like.
Okay.
But majority of it I don't like.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And so, home ownership, the 2-year thing.
Yeah, and like, so in California or wherever, I don't know if it's everywhere, apparently you need to have like a stable income, a stable job for 2 years to purchase a house. And like, I'm trying to do that.
For a lower initial fee,
So I'm not trying to like mess up any of that to get a house, but I'm almost to the point where I'm just like, you know what? fuck it. Like,
well, I think two things can be true. Remember that. So you got like a plan. You feel what I'm saying? So my opinion on what I would do in your situation and then your plan are different. You feel me? Because you're going to execute it, then you can quit. It's the same thing. We just saying don't put up with that shit because quality of life is really what we talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's the stress. It's the other shit that you got to deal with that comes with the job. It's not so much the job. But the reason why I reached out to you all and I wanted to put this all together is because I host a creative tour called the Creative Canvas Tour. And it's a nationwide tour that helps support creative just like yourself, videographers, photographers, artists. But I set it up more so like it's like at the Grammys versus you just going to an art show. So if you come to it early, like if you are part of the show, you'll get interviewed by Angelo. He does our pre-show like on Facebook Live. Just like if you went to the BET Awards, you would see DJ Khaled or somebody. My celebrity friend sits there and he does that. And then we have like a big fashion show. So the art goes up all over the wall, but we have a fashion show in the midst of it. Now I'm sure you all have been to fashion shows before. I'm not saying that mine's any different, but there's substance. So during intermission, instead of there being like music just playing and people sitting there being stupid, I actually interview the artists on the runway. So everybody's sitting there, and then I'm sitting there one-on-one talking with them about their business, and because I've been working for myself since 2012. Okay. You see what I'm saying? And we, like all of us, we ain't never been like fans of jobs like that.
So in 2012, is that when you went to Miami and you quit? Is that when you started?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
So that sparked it all?
That's what sparked it, yeah.
That's a quote right there. I'm going to write that down. We ain't really fans of jobs like that.
Yeah.
That's it on a shirt.
That's it, though. Like, that's the thing is, like, and
it's so true.
When we went to Atlanta and we met people in Texas and Houston, it's like, you can't say what's your job title because they can't give you a job title. It's like, I'm an entrepreneur. Yeah. I do 3 different things. I have a book here. I'm about to write another book. I'm also over here doing this. I'm also doing this. That's why, and it's a very millennial thing too, because you guys are millennials. It's a very millennial thing of us to be like this, but we saw our families slaving just to feed us. You know, we didn't see our parents just to feed us.
More so you didn't see your parents. Remember, my
mom was home.
Yeah, my dad's had his own business since like before I was born. Like,
true.
My mom always did the books for my dad. So like I know I have the entrepreneurship bug in me. I just haven't let it come out yet. Yeah. So like
even your mom was working. She was a caretaker. Yeah. Taking care of, a million children.
Yeah.
You know, like
my sister,
a million kids.
There's so many kids, and then balancing the books for the house. So it's like even in that facet, she allowed your dad to be able to just work and just make the money while she's taking care of all the kids. Like
it's like I still didn't see my dad, but it's like it was his own shit.
And you had a parent at home.
Yeah, and he could decide not to work. So like in December, my dad didn't work at all because
he
didn't want to. Yeah, he was like, I'm not working, and he was at home every fucking day.
Exactly.
So like I want that freedom as well. It's just that like I don't know. I support a lot. I feel like even though I'm the youngest child, I support my family a lot. So it's just like I gotta make calculated moves wisely. I can't just like
and
my job.
And we all want our lives to be a little easier than our parents' lives were growing up, and you want your kids to have even better life than yours was growing up. So we also have a legacy that we have to follow as doing better.
Yeah, I was about to say a big part of that though. Somebody has to sacrifice for real. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like someone has to do it. So. That's where like this trio is. That's where we all have arrived. So if you take in consideration I was talking to Thrash partner Dro the other day, and he was talking about he was trying to build his following audience and make money. And I just asked him. He said he had like 3,000 followers. I said, how many brick and mortar stores do you know got 3,000 customers? Right. You need to learn how to monetize them. You know what I'm saying? Because people take money. Most times we arguing over pennies and nickels. Right. Like the money that you really trying to bring in, you need to look at it and see how can I make this money doing something else for real. True. You know what I'm saying? Because you're just trying to supplement for that's missing. Right. Like you're not going to be making 30,000. Stop. Then start making 50,000 until you start working for yourself. No, you're probably going to be making 30,000. Stop and make 15 for yourself. Right. But that 15 is well worth it. That 15 making feel much. It's so much better than that 30. That's your 15. Yeah. And it may sound crazy, but I tell him this all the time. 1 + 1 will forever be 2, always. So how do you get money? You save it. You live below your means. These are things that you have to do if you're trying to build like businesses like what y'all have. You know what I'm saying? So it's just more so. I just believe that it's more so people stop like talking shit. It's just a lot of people out here just running their mouth. They're not like really doing nothing for real. That's why like I saw y'all. I was like, oh yeah, they working. come on, fuck with us.
Yeah, and social media does, manipulate people a lot too. It's you see like always just the good side of things, but you don't see like when I remember DJ Envy said something, and I was like, oh, well, duh. Why didn't I never think about it? The fact that everyone's posing with their like. They got the Louis Vuitton, got all the bags, and he was like, a lot of that shit's fake. And my assumption, I don't even think about that stuff, so I'm just thinking like, oh, okay, they wanted a Louis bag. But it's like, yeah, some of it's real, but it's like, some people are really walking around with it fake just to say that they have it. And then it's making kids who are seeing this come out of their pockets of everything they have. Unfortunately, I've watched it happen to where one thing is like jet setting. People travel all around. We've never traveled, so we traveled a lot last year. And you'll see people traveling. And I've seen situations where they want to travel, have nice outfits, that new Fashion Nova and all that shit. And by the end of it, it's like their bank account is empty on empty. Like for real empty, and it's like just to get likes, just to get follows.
Or just to show that you're living a life. Like that
you're not living
life,
for
like
real.
You're not a slave to your job, because I know a lot of us feel like we are a slave to our job. So it's just like, well, let me show that I'm not. And it's just like, well, you're using every fucking penny that you have to show that. What's the point?
Which makes you a slave to your job.
Because you have to live paycheck to paycheck then.
Right.
You can't literally. You can't, like, if you get fired, you're gonna be shit out of luck. Like, you're not gonna have anything to stabilize you until you can get a new job. And like getting a new job takes like what, 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, full time. Yeah. To get a small little part-time, you get that shit in like 2 weeks.
Right, but it's not gonna
no money. You're going to get that $12 an hour that California's offering.
I don't even remember when I made that much.
Because we were so broke, we were stressed. You forgot.
Right. Like, when was that?
That's exactly what happened. How do you guys feel about the social media era and kind of how it's controlling culture a little bit?
I wish we had it before. I wish we had it in 2009. Because go ahead. I'll tell you later.
I feel like it wouldn't have happened if social media were a bigger present thing.
You think so?
Yeah, I think we would have been way more aware to what was popping off, or just more turned off, like
more immune to it, more used to it.
Yeah, because you get now these days they're everywhere to find each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We would have just saw something, or something would have been like, he's a little corn. He's a corn by yesterday. She said.
Yeah.
It's just interesting that you were saying that people will play Keeping Up with the Joneses as far as social media is concerned, with the flexing and the finessing. I've seen creatives real life quit because they're trying to keep up with what they see other creatives doing. But you're not even close enough to tell what's inception and what's flexing and what's finessing. You know what I mean? Especially, I'm based in Atlanta. You know what I mean? So in Atlanta, there's a lot of flexing and finessing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people don't want to support until they see that you're there, to see that you got it. Yeah,
for sure.
A lot of the time. So a lot of right.
Definitely.
So a lot of the game is acting like you're already there, but then you're missing out on the true. You're not really building a village. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what makes us kind of fall off of our social media presence, is when we have to buckle down and really just work. It's actually sometimes really hard to keep up with social media. So it's interesting that some people have planners and timers and stuff like that. I mean, but some people do get paid off of it.
When's the last time you detoxed with social media?
I mean, I don't really. I haven't posted on mine since we went to Atlanta in. When was that? When we
October.
October. And then on my story, I post for like our podcast, and then like every now and then I'll post on there. But I'm just like, first of all, I don't want y'all in my business and tracking me, like finding out where I'm at, or like watching. Or I don't like when like you post something on social media and you posted it and you're talking to somebody and then they're like, oh yeah, I saw that on your Instagram. It's like, no, I'd rather have like the genuine connection of telling somebody that something happened. And then like just some stuff for myself I like to keep private. It's just not like, I don't want to share everything with everybody. It's like, I like to share everything with certain people but not with everyone. You know, so like that's what makes me fall back. And then just when you go on places like the Shade Room, or you look like at comments or anything, everything is negative. Everything's negative. Everybody's trying to like bring somebody else down, and it's just like too much negativity on there.
The devil's
about
on the
people
internet.
trying to like floss positivity of like, oh, I have this, I have that, the other, I'm successful, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And it's just like, it doesn't feel genuine. And then like just the mix of like the negativity and the positivity together, like the the same time, it's just like
it can really unbalance you. And mind you, you're on social media. It's like the one thing that actually connects the world, whereas before technology, we didn't have things connecting us like this. So you're also sharing the energy of all of these people. And sometimes you can feel the energy through the text, you know, and it's just not a balanced energy. But I remember I was off social media for a year back in like maybe 2015. And then I was just watching it because it's kind of like TV now at this point. So you can really entertain yourself on Instagram and Twitter for a little while and be laughing, like cackling and sending people like, oh, look at this, what I just saw, you know, like. And so I was off for a year, but then I got back on. But yeah, my issue was kind of been like it's fugazi. And I have a little conspiracy theory also that if you've noticed, social media is really controlling movements. If you really go hard on social media and it goes viral, it's actually pushing movements. Just like this R. Kelly shit was the most trending Lifetime series in Lifetime history on Twitter. You know, it's like these things are trending and stuff like that. And there's a part of me that believes that instead of there being, say for example, there's one person, 100 people saying, mute R. Kelly, even though he did do what he did was wrong. He's wrong. But I have this feeling that with all the computer science and all the IT people who are geniuses, these 100 people might just be one person. And he's programming the computer to create 100 functional profiles, and
which
then
is
he's
very possible.
Programming it to all send
they
out.
have robots that do
you know,
that.
And it's making me, because I'm like, if we are now aware that our actions will control the culture, why not hack the culture?
I mean, that's what the Trump administration is in trouble and accused of doing.
Right.
There's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And so it's like, who do you trust?
Like, isn't Cohen being like summoned to testify by January 25th to say that they did like skew the polls and lie about Trump being ahead when he wasn't? Right? Like, bring that
Such a highlight. I'm about to get some popcorn, glass of wine. I'm sit up and watch that. Like, okay, you better tell the truth and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
To piggyback off of Angelo too, though, and just more so responding because I look at it different. I don't ever take like breaks from social media. Because I've accepted the fact that it's not real.
Yeah.
So the moment I accept the fact that it's not real, I don't have to dodge it because I'm not looking at it for it's like something to complete me. You know what I'm saying? So if you, like, I hear you, like I feel you in regards to like the shade room and the baller alert. That like that shit's real, but it always goes back to why you guys are here. Like I would like people to see that everything we talk about, we do.
Right.
This Style House is, you know what I'm saying? That's my boys, but. This is ours, you know what I'm saying? We gonna go up for it, and we really came out here to get our eyes on this because pretty soon we'll be making moves out here. Like our team will be out here more often, hosting things like here and other places. So, social, you're right. I think that there's not enough people giving the proper information on social media when they get a chance to, like the people who had the proper platforms.
Not being transparent.
Not being transparent enough. Like we wanted BTS, we wanted behind the scenes, and we wanted like. Y'all to shoot it y'all way. We wanted like everybody to understand like yo this like for one real money is being made, but on top of real money being made, like it's real like brothers, like real African Americans out here that's doing it. And we really you can go to our Instagram, and I actually have many Instagrams, like multiple, like 3 or 4. Okay. And you can come to them. I have to manage all of them, but the thing about it is what like the purpose behind all these Instagrams. Like the stuff that I get off, I'm trying to get off for me. I'm not really, it's not even so much I need y'all's approval on this shit. I just need y'all to see this shit. Because I understand that the more y'all see this and the more like the same thing that we hate about business, we have to accept. And you smart young lady, we have to accept it's business. Yep. So you don't want them in your business, but you want them to listen to your podcast, which ultimately the people who are going to invest in your podcast are going to know how many people are listening to it, which means they would need to be in your business. Which then means I would have to ask you, why do you even do it if you don't want people in your business? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You would have to, but not you. The way I do it, no one's in my business at all. No one will ever like. I won't let anybody in like that. There's
you
no
only
need.
Show the business.
Exactly. I only show you what you need to see. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
I keep the rest of it to myself. Right. If I feel like getting some shit off, I like play music over a blank Instagram story, and I'll just say what I gotta say. And if you got a problem with it, then. You know what I'm saying? You got 24 hours to have a problem with it. You know what I'm saying? I just think that I don't like to hear, like, I don't want y'all to be, like, discouraged, you know what I'm saying, for shit like that. When people being negative towards y'all, fuck them. Because when you get popping, all that negativity is a total different energy. Yeah. It's totally different. You know what I'm saying?
But for me, it's just like on Instagram, I feel that way. Like I'll still be like on my Tumblr and shit. Like I don't care about
Tumblr.
Tumblr, I'll do anything.
Yeah, Tumblr is that platform for sure.
Except for like post nudes.
And
I'll do anything.
Except post nudes.
They took the porn away.
Except post nudes. She dropped that in there too. I post news on Twitter, but not Tumblr.
Nah, not Tumblr.
Tumblr is a wild place. Like
really?
You have to learn how to navigate. But I've been on there since 2010. Like, and I fell off of that, got back on. Instagram, I fell off, got back on, then fell off again. Like, I just can't stay consistent with Instagram. It's just like I feel like it's just not for me.
Yeah.
Like, other social media sites are for me, but Instagram is not one.
And as you've seen over the past years, we have kept it like pretty business because I barely post. I'm on my story. I'm one of those people where it's like I'll post like Happy New Year, and then that's it. You'll see me in 3 months when I actually do something that I care about taking a picture of. You know,
and
like,
it's like maybe like some moments that I really want to remember because like Instagram's kind of like just tracking like your life, tracking what you
like
did,
highlights.
like just like your highlights. Like so if it's something that like I'm like, well, this was really fun. Like I had a really good time. I want to share it with y'all. I'll put it on there, but like. For the most part, I just don't feel like putting forth the effort. I don't like reading captions on there. I literally go on there to look at. I look at workout videos on there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm there for.
I watch dance videos, and also
watch dance videos.
I basically look at like everyone hitting the whoa. It's basically like your business card, at this point, like, especially for people who don't like to use social media, because I'm just like, it's a lot of work. So, and make it a business, make your page your business card. People know, like, I think mine is a link to our website or something like that.
Yeah, mine's linked to our iTunes.
And that's good advice for people who are like sick of Instagram but can't get off it. Yeah. You might as well find out what you love to do and start posting about that.
That's it.
On Instagram you'll see girls like, they like doing makeup and they'll do it for fun, and then they end up growing this huge following just because they're literally growing over the years, continuously doing makeup and over and over. And these might be girls who are like, I don't want to go to college, I don't know what I want to do, but because they just took something they liked and kept posting it, their regular page turns into a platform for them to start making sales, for them to start doing makeup, for them to start. Some people like to create clothes, like we have friends who created clothes, and they're just like, same thing, I don't want to go to college, so let me do something else. They started making outfits and that shit started selling. So especially for people who don't like Instagram or find it to be too negative, one, don't read the post. Don't read the comment section. But two, it's like also find out what you like to do, as you have like multiple Instagrams, find out what you like to do and make that a platform for yourself. And if it's like, I don't want to encourage girls to be like, because those profiles of them girls with the booty pics.
Like, if that's your thing, that's your thing.
It's like, I don't want to encourage it, but it's just so... my problem, my problem is.
I like halfway have a problem.
In 2019, what you want us to say?
I know.
I ain't saying nothing. I'm not even touching.
I know.
That.
It's like
I was laughing what you were saying. You're like, I don't want to encourage it, but it's just so.
It's like I don't want to encourage it, but y'all are making money. Like if you're pretty, you go to the gym. Hopefully, not too much plastic surgery, but everyone do what the fuck you want to do. Just go to someone who's certified.
Don't go to like Mexico or like Columbia,
TVOne and shit like that. Yeah, don't do it, because I've seen some crooked booties in
the
strip club and it's not worth it.
Don't like Dr. Miami got payment plans?
Every plastic surgeon has payment plans. They got care credit.
Damn.
Just like the dentist. Wow. And it's like I don't want to necessarily encourage people, but I've seen a lot of girls who couldn't find a path. Like they couldn't find anything, and they were still young, so it's like you have time, and they keep. There's just so many things they don't want to do, and then you see that slight transition in them getting more and more naked on Instagram and more and more like, and I've watched that transition in a lot of girls. So it's like, while I don't want to condone it, I am aware that a lot of women are making money off of it. So if you are good at taking pictures and you're super pretty, maybe try to start modeling on your page.
That's what it turns into, though.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the people I see
Instagram
post
models.
booty pics, they become an Instagram model and they really be getting checks. Like, and it would be from other small Instagram brands that are like, yo, your page is popping, I need to pop off too. Can you wear this for me?
Yeah, and then Flat Tummy Tea comes after you. So, you can always make something.
Comes after.
Something out of nothing.
Lip gloss.
House.
And Frank, I actually had a question. Going back to you said you have an event similar. It's a fashion show, or is it kind of like you said, like a Grammy like?
It's like a culmination of the arts period. So it's a fashion show and an art gallery at the same time.
Okay, so it's almost like an exhibit, and then at some point you sit down, watch the fashions. At some point you talk to different millennial entrepreneurs. Is everyone black? Is it multicultural?
The doors open to everybody.
Yeah,
but we mostly get black because of the way it's branded. But the doors open to everybody. Everybody can come in and be a part if they would like.
Yeah, and we're the same thing where it's like most of our guests have been black, but we're open to everybody. It's just
it's just like, well, we're black. Like, that's the easiest demographic to like be drawn towards us too.
Yeah, and it's like statistically we're one of the most struggling demographics. So we want to show for people to see black faces and say these people did it, and I have this skin color, and so that I'm capable of doing it too. You know, because I think that. I know there's a lot of kids that aren't black that get discouraged, but a lot of black kids get discouraged, especially in counties like LA where they're not even paying the teachers enough to where the teachers are striking, so these kids aren't receiving their education, and the teachers are just asking for higher pay so that they can buy more things for their class, because everyone knows teachers come out of their pocket for a lot of stuff too.
Really? Okay.
So it's like when you grow up in environments where you see that everything's going to be difficult for you, when you see a lot of people going to jail, when you see a lot of people going to getting killed, you almost get discouraged and believe that you can't be that. Whereas in another black culture, such as like a Nigerian culture, all you see is the Nigerian people like berating you to like become a doctor. Because we were, berated like that, we go down that path. So I like the podcast platform, even things like the Breakfast Club where everyone's multicultural, where they can see you are a black man or you are a mixed black woman or a mixed black man, and you can still be something no matter your skin color, no matter where you came from, no matter how poor your parents were, you can become something. So I like that idea of having basically a showcase of everything and you hosting, like, and it's going to inspire people, especially when it goes up on Instagram, like social media people who weren't there are going to see it and be like, oh, okay, like, oh, I've been looking into doing designing for a while. I didn't even know they had things like this where not only designers are here, but there's actors, and it's also networking. Coming from business school, that just like networking is everything, and networking is especially huge in Hollywood too.
And we take them through like the regular, like I take you through the process because I did a lot of creative direction for like New York Fashion Week shows. So I take the designers through the actual process. Like if you do my show as a designer, I don't pick the models for you. Like I have a model call, and if you're a designer, you come. That's awesome. And you play a part in picking the model call and picking the models. And I have someone come shoot it, and then we put that out as content. And then we have a panel the night before as well. It's called the I Can panel. Having an I Can mentality, like that's our slogan. Yeah. And like you said, like I just try to give you everything. Like if you deal with any of the platform we deal with, you're gonna get A through Z. You're gonna deal with us. I make you have to market yourself. I don't give anyone shit for free. Right. And then nobody ever gave any of us shit for free. We're not even getting into the stories of how we really, really got here and the shit we really, really had to go through and do. So I don't really give handouts, and people who want handouts that try to come to my platform, it's like, well, if what I'm asking you for is too much, then I can already tell you're probably not going to make it at what you're doing. That's just how I feel. And I'm not afraid to like stand on one side of the line or the other. If I put you in a position to market yourself, I'm not asking you to market what I do. This is for you, because at our show, we put so much of the emphasis on the person that's participating in it. Right. If you don't see that value, then it's not for me to try to sell to you.
And are you going to be doing that out here in LA?
Now, now we are.
How often do you do the show?
We do them basically once a month. We try to get them once a month or bi-monthly. Last year we only did 5 shows, but that was a part of because we planned this year to be so big that we cut it short. But that is really how it's like my guerrilla marketing style of making sure that people in other places really know me, not like some social media. Like, nope, I actually met Frank. I was there with him, and I can work with him. I could do business with him. It's legit. It's straight up like, all right, how can I get my stuff on? And then I have a big enough of a following to make it worthwhile. You know what I'm saying? So if you come over and people are going to see you, it's just, I hope that you got something when I tell them to come see you. True. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it's about. And it really don't have anything to do with me. I hope your shit's together. Because obviously our team is, you know what I'm saying? We're going to figure it out.
You got it out the mud.
Yeah.
So you expect everyone else to
I
also. Go ahead, sorry.
You touched on something earlier when we were first at the very, very beginning. You were saying some of the hardest part about jumping off the porch is the people that are counting on you for support, the weight that you're carrying. I think one key has been for us and what we're building and the way we're building it is that it's a village, so we value what each other is carrying, you know, just as much as that person. So with Quentin's son, Ro, we value that just as much as a Quentin, you know what I'm saying? And his daughters are, you know what I mean, are girls. So you understand that
they have multiple father figures.
Exactly.
All three of us, all of us got kids.
That's in real time. That's why Quentin had to get up because his son Ro was But when you have that luxury of understanding what you're building as a village, so other people will pick up. But you know what I mean? So it's important to just have that tribe and that village, that understanding. And I'm a first generation Cuban American. So my mother came when she was 12 years old, and then my grandfather, he was a grown man at that point. So we had to bury my grandfather some years ago, like 6 or 7 years ago, and it really showed like how much they sacrificed to get where we are. And it kind of makes you put everything into context. It's like, wow, I'm scared about this or that, or my daughter not having this, and her Wi-Fi being gluten-free, you know what I'm saying? All this type of shit. All this type of shit where your grandfather was out here taking penitentiary chances for us to sit in the style house and kick the dream that we're kicking, you know what I'm saying? Like really penitentiary chances. So it just put everything into context. With that overall sacrifice. Even though as a man, as a father, it hurts. It hurts like mentally and emotionally, not even physically. But I find what's been the best antidote for that is diving right back into my bag, right back into my brand. You know what I mean? And the sacrifices are made, and that's what you don't see on social media. Like driving 4 hours after a 10-hour day on set, or FaceTiming for a parent-teacher conference. Like whatever you got to do, sort that shit out.
That's awesome.
I thought it was interesting to piggyback off the family shit, because that for real is why all of us are able to like the women that are in our lives. Like it gets blown over too much when like the conversations happen, because it's like, well, you're not home and we need money. Like there has to be like a balance. But I think like the women that we deal with, like their ability to understand what we trying to do and the fact that we provide results. Like I'm cool for a girl holding down like her guy or whatever, but there should be a result from whatever he's doing. Like you, even if it's a small incremental result, that's why they created metrics. You know what I'm saying? So that I can look at it and see you did this and this came from it. You know what I'm saying? So with shit like this, you know what I'm saying? We were able to actually look and say, all right, this one's now, all right, and then we do this. I can provide results for them, and then they seen the growth. So shit, I interviewed 7th Streeter this year, like. But I've been after this for a long time. Like none of this is new to me for damn sure. You know what I'm saying? So family, our abilities, like that's why we really have to be stand-up dudes, because it's real. It's fucked up. Men, we're gonna fuck up anyway. Like I put my hand up first. I know I'm gonna fuck up. But what I am gonna say is like we take care of the set. Like whatever the set is, whether it be us, whether it be our kids, whether it be a lady, regardless, I'm gonna take care of mine. Like I'm gonna always take care of mine. And I love. Thankfully, the females in our lives have made that, give us those windows so that we can get the stuff we need to done.
That's very good. Are all of you guys married? Girlfriends, baby moms?
Yeah. I got baby.
Oh, okay. You know, I mean,
fuck you think going on in here?
I mean, you know, we're in LA.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask. So, you said that the people in your lives see the results from what you're doing, so that they know that it's worth it. But did you guys struggle to? Did you guys ever ask for help or feel like too much pride to ask for help? Because I know how men are, and y'all don't be asking.
I'm an Afro-Caribbean. I'm an Afro-Cuban Leo, if you're into the psychology of all that shit.
We gotta go.
Yeah.
My dad's a Leo.
Let's get out of here.
I'm a Cancer.
Okay. All right, you cool. You good. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
But I'm a
all right.
You crazy as fuck.
Thank you. Yo.
That's why we silly. I said, oh, shit. Just kidding.
Yeah. Nah, definitely struggled asking for help. And what I realized is even before I got into acting, I went and caught myself doing some groundwork before I even told some of the more major people in my life, because they're more practical people. They're people who went, like my pops, a man who pretty much raised me, and I refer to as my pops. He's a practical person, worked for Bell South for like 30-something years, retired from there. Yeah. Before it was Bell South, and then AT&T purchased it and everything. Went to school, had a degree in history. Doesn't work in anything having to do with history. Now he's retired. So he was excited, you know what I mean? And I'm coming to him like trying to come with some proof or come with some type of weight to it. He was just like, do it, fly, like you can go that way ASAP. And there's been times where I hit a wall, and because communicating when I'm approaching the wall isn't my best thing, I would make those calls once I hit the wall. It's like, I'm coming back home. It's a wrap. Like, I'm negative $100 or something in my account. Like, my daughter is crying for me right now. Like, it's a wrap. I'm done. It's a wrap. Yeah. It's like, no, like, don't go. Like, stay. Like, here's this such and such that we had actually set aside, thinking you might need help soon, but you didn't tell us you need help soon. We got to set aside once we had got this one check. There are people who poured into like what I'm doing and what we're trying to build, like a village. Like,
so you gotta have a good support system, and people that can read minds, because they know when you need help, even if you don't know that you need it.
They gotta trust in you. They gotta trust in you like MVP, like LeBron status. Matter of fact, what we're building is like formulaic. It follows a formula that a Kevin Hart or a LeBron or OVO has set in place, where it's you get one that breaks in, and then you double back around and you bring your day ones in with you. You may need to outsource some of it. They may need to intern with this person or shadow that person or get a degree or whatever. Right. But once they're ready to go, that's it. You're taking off from there. Team. Yeah, exactly. And we study Maverick and LeBron and what they have going on. And one of their main things is LeBron's got to win. Like, everything is based around that. If he's not winning, there's no conversation. There's no nothing. Yeah. Seriously. So you're not going to be poured into unless people see that you have the ability to win or that you're putting up those W's. And my hustle is divine, you know what I'm saying? I'm, like, what you see before you is cool, it's chill, and it's the beginning, but you don't understand. Like, pursue the happiness level shit. And that's the transparency we talk about with. So that's why social media is important for us, because it gives us a platform to be that transparent. I'm talking riding in Atlanta, the bus system or the transit system is called the MARTA. So I booked some. It's 96 degrees outside. It's June. Walking a mile to the train. On the other end, I got another mile. I'm getting set 30 minutes early so I could change because I'm sweaty as fuck. So I'm going to slip in the bathroom right quick, change, and then just be posted up when everybody walk in like, hey, what's going on? I know my lines, you know what I'm saying? I'm here helping other motherfuckers with their shit. Yeah. So when you have that level of hustle, you can understand why people would. But even when you're in it, when you're doing it, it's just like, I can't stand to, like, I'm done. Like, I'm over it. I can't, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm over it. I have responsibilities. I got things I need to do as a man, as a father, as a brother, as an uncle.
You gotta get it done.
Yeah. All right, so I'm quitting my job in June. No, but I have been telling myself that I need to start doing all the things that I want to do, because, like Nina and almost everybody else, I want to do a lot of things. And I have the list in my phone of everything that I want to accomplish, and it's just like, I'm an artist, like, but I don't practice my craft as much as I should. And I was just like, since I'm moving, I have to like pack up all my art and move. And I was looking at like the last piece of art that I created that I was proud of was fucking 3 years ago. And it don't feel like, it literally doesn't feel like it was 3 years ago. But I'm like, damn, bitch, first of all, you were depressed because you're not drawing anything. And then two, like, you could have been having all these years to practice and you could have been great already. Yeah. Like, you're fucking yourself over by not dedicating the time to practice your craft. So that's like one thing that I've been trying to get stricter with myself about, is just because, like, I like art, I like creating, it makes me happy. So, like, I need to practice it so I can find a way to monetize it. Yeah. Because I'm not doing this hospital shit for the rest of my life. I can't hold a job for 20 years for somebody else. Like, it's just not for me.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how you can just fall off. Remember how I was telling you how, I mean, in like middle school, mostly I was known for like freestyling all the time, and I was so good at it.
She made the hit song for our high school.
Where?
Like, her and her brother made the hit song for our high school.
Every football game,
they did
every basketball
video.
game.
You performed it at a Broadway.
This is when you cut on y'all YouTube and go and cut to that footage of her doing.
God. No, the video's still up.
Sure.
Wow. It's still up.
Oh, definitely checking that one out for sure.
Back when we were all ugly.
Honestly, I look at that video and I was like, wow, my self-esteem was low because I look all right. You know, like, and I'm thinking I look like a monster. I'm like, girl, you're skinny.
Yeah.
Like, you look fine, and you sitting here stressing because these dumbass little kids don't know what they're talking about. Because you don't know no better, you know? Like, but it's one of those things where I was telling her, like, I used to be so good at freestyling. We used to have that Summer Shark short show in middle school, and I would just freestyle, and, you know, they would just post it up, and it would play on every TV in the school. And then I just fell off, and I'm like, if I try to freestyle now, I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
But it's like, I used to be fire. You know?
With an H at the end. Fire.
You know?
Fire.
I used to sing in class. I used to be fucking fire. You know, and it's like, I don't want to be a singer or rapper. These are things I like to do for fun. But the thing is, like, the thing that you like to do for fun, you've fallen off so hard that you don't do it at all.
Yeah.
You know, and then your ability to do it just falls off too. Same with dancing. Like, same with all these things.
Like, I wanted to make clothes. I even, like, got a sketchbook of, like, all the little, like, model shapes, and I was drawing my own clothes for the longest time.
Yeah.
What happened? Got depressed, fell off.
Like, yeah.
So
you just reminded me, because I was going to bring up the topic of depression, because it's something that, like, I'm glad that media is now highlighting mental health so that people know, like, please go to therapy if you need therapy.
Get a doctor.
Please get on medication if you need medication, you know? How has your, I don't know, like, I'm not going to say, like, have you had depression before? But how has your experience been when dealing with mental health while still trying to reach your dreams? Either of you.
I think, so everyone has anxiety. Like they say, I've been diagnosed with anxiety. I'm like, no, you haven't, motherfucker. You got it. Like, you're just anxious.
You're just a human.
But I dealt with anxiety. Like, I deal with anxiety like in the toughest of ways. But I've gotten to a point now where it's like, what's the result? Like, period. Like, I've learned that you have to grow to accept. If you never paint again, just know that you won't be happy. You see what I'm saying? You see how cold that is? But ultimately, like, that's where I'm at now. So that's what I had to do to eliminate my anxiety. You either do it or you do not, and don't spend your time worrying about it if you aren't going to do it, because you are being fake to yourself. And that's sort of where I that's like the evolution of myself, because I've always been able to put shit together and make shit look good. But now I put shit together and make shit look good, and I've covered my ass and dotted my I's and crossed my T's. That's the evolution of me. Yeah. Before it'd be like, oh, this nigga JT is scamming or whatever, and I wasn't doing any of it. My intentions were right. I just knew that I didn't know all the way what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? And then at that time I was afraid to admit it. Now if I don't know what I'm doing, I openly. That's to answer your question about communication. Yeah. I'll say, yo, I don't know. Or I'll say I do, or I'll say the internet's in front of me and I will learn. You know what I'm saying? So I'll either look it up and do it for myself, or I'm going to ask somebody to get the information. But to answer directly in regards to like mental health, I do agree that it's definitely a thing. I think that people should stop playing with it. Like, if you pussy, then you pussy. Like, you just scared. Like, I don't really like. I don't know how to be PC, because in how I do business, I don't have to be. Like, I don't. Yeah. They have to do that shit. I don't have to do it. So it's like all of you motherfuckers aren't suffering from mental illness. Some of you are just like scared. You know what I'm saying? Some of you don't have like courage. Some of you just need to go to Kansas. You know what I'm saying? And figure that part out, because this shit really ain't difficult. Like, y'all should be good. It'll be nice if y'all just continue to do it. Like, if y'all continue to do this, y'all don't drop out. Y'all don't flip on each other, and everybody just stay chill. Everything will be okay. But what I've grown to learn is most of the time we're not arguing about the destination. We're arguing about the journey. Right. Everybody wants to take a different way to get there, but we all want to go to the same place. So if y'all can keep the destination in mind, I don't really, you know what I'm saying? The people who got mental illness, we know, like, they sick. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're down to the point where you're about to kill yourself, hurt yourself, I'm not talking to you when I say you're bullshit. Like, I'm not being insensitive to that person, but I'm not going to, like, I don't want to do the whole I love you such and such and then I talk bad about you. I don't want to do that. I'm talking to the people that's fucking faking it, because we deal with real problems. Like, we got kids and we can't quit on our family. You see what I'm saying? Like, I can't quit on the people that love me. So, like, you shouldn't quit on yours either. You know what I'm saying? If you need help, go fucking get it. Like, go get the help, because it's there. They got hotlines.
Right.
They got all types of shit
You
that's
just call
there.
member services for your insurance.
Exactly.
Too, and they'll help you get a therapist.
Exactly. Take the proper steps. That's the thing. If something wrong, you should take the steps to fix it.
Yeah.
If something's wrong and you're just complaining because you want the other shit that comes with it, the pity,
or you want someone to do it for you.
You know what I'm saying? What's that? What is that really getting accomplished?
Yeah, that's the hard thing about mental health is it really is in your own hands. So if you don't take it in your own hands, you will fall.
Exactly.
You know, and you will be responsible for your fall.
You will.
And sometimes their main argument for that is, "Oh, I can't. Like I literally can't." It
true.
sounds corny, but one of my number one comeback lines of all times is, "Not with that attitude, you can't." You know what I'm saying? Like, period. Like when my daughter's like, "Nah, I can't even." It's like, "Not with that attitude, you can't." Like,
True.
Nah, I hate broccoli.
You can.
Well,
yeah. I've always had like, I got diagnosed with like onsets of anxiety, which I feel.
Which means you're a human being.
Yeah, you're human. Yeah.
Right?
And that's
fight or flight. That's all it is. It kicks in like a
fuck.
Not to interrupt you, but that's like when you see these commercials for this stuff, or if you know anybody who's taking something to help them with their depression or their bipolar or whatever the case is going on, what they're treating is a chemical imbalance in your brain. But they yet to this day don't have the perfect picture of the chemical balance.
Right.
Your chemical balance is going to be different from mine, it's going to be different from his, it's going to be different from hers.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Even from people that you're cut from the same cloth as them, it's going to be different.
Yes.
So why are you trying to treat something that makes me who I am to a certain degree?
Right.
So once you start tapping into law of attraction and more abundance type frequency of thinking, you got to be thankful for whatever it is that's making you weird as shit. You know what I mean? Now some things are not untreatable, but some things are out of your scope of, okay, I can law of attraction this thing out. Some things do take real growth and real work and real studying. But like I said, we got people dealing with real issues. We got fathers. I got homies. ain't never been in the military. Got PTSD. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
Just from being a black person growing up in the city. You know what I'm saying? So you got a law of attraction that shit out and think and be thankful for whatever it is that's most of your characteristics or a trait is going to be a flip side. It's going to be a balance to it. It's going to be a heads and tails. So the same thing that somebody is telling you need to reel in and that's too much and you're being frantic or manic or whatever, if you bring some thankfulness, some abundance to that, you can fuck around and flip that narrative into, well, this is who makes me who I am. So when I get in that studio, I could spit my pain well. Or when I touch this canvas, I could do it well. Or even if you're not a creative, when I compile this data for this Fortune 500 company, I'm gonna compile this shit in a way that makes the most sense because my mind is a little fucked up because I'm a human fucking being.
I know it's also I feel like it takes time, first of all, to deal with your mental health and be able to handle it. You have to learn it. But at the same time, I've noticed with my issues, like I've said on the podcast before, I'm like, I feel like I have onsets of depression. You know, they just come and go. I don't know why. You know, I'm not really, can't. Shit. But at the same time, I don't know if I want to go to a doctor and actually change the chemicals in my head, knowing that people are changing their prescriptions multiple times, saying, oh, this didn't work for me, let me try something else. So now you're just manipulating the chemicals in your head. And
then, some of them pills make it worse. And it's just like, I don't want to feel worse than I already feel. Yeah, it's like what if it's like one thing I really want to do is be able to live with any mental health I have without medication. You know, Xanax is fantastic for tragic moments. And, or like at the end of a
the cosign for Xanax just now was crazy.
No, it's like I had
tremendous.
Or a long flight, and it's
this
like
is not Angelo Diaz.
We're not trying to tell you don't do bars when you wake up in the morning and go drive for fun.
No drugs.
But I recall a point in my life where it's like
say no to drugs.
Yeah, please.
Safely.
And I remember there was a point in my life where I got prescribed it, and it's like I still have the same prescription from so many years ago because I don't use it. But it's like it does what it does and it works well. But the only problem is when you go on white television like Bravo and stuff, you hear that thing. Oh, I need a Xanax. Yeah. Oh, I need a Xanax. And for me to know the strength of a Xanax and then hear people say it casually, I'm like, God damn.
Like, you're taking that and function?
You gonna take that shit when the sun is up?
Hell.
Like, you need to take that shit at night because it shows a level of people not being able to manage their own depression. I remember just the other day, I felt like I went down, and me knowing myself, this is not the first time. So I went down and I was like, okay, wait it out. And I sat it out, waited out on my computer. I'm always working, so I'm just like, whatever, researching stuff, just waited it out. It took almost 12 hours to go away, and I noticed the moment it went away.
Really?
And that was partially like my look at God, because it's like I remember back in the day when I was younger, I would just be like freaking out the whole time. And mind you, if you're freaking out during a depression, it's just going to continue past, you know, when it was going to go, and you might make yourself depressed for months and stuff. But if you're able to like have some sort of mental strength and just be like, okay, I felt this feeling before. Nothing is just, you know, falling apart around me. At least I'm safe and I'm alive, and you're able to get through to the end, then you're happy at the end. And I was
I feel
happy
like you're talking about like when therapists tell you to like ground yourself. Like you find like something that your senses, like I could touch this, I could hear this, I could feel that.
Yeah.
I could see that, you know, things like
mine was my computer and my blanket. And I was just with my computer and my blanket, and I waited it out. And one of my friends called me, like, they're somewhere else, so the time zone was super off, called me very late at night. And so called me like as right after I transitioned out of it, and I'm trying to explain it to them, and they're like, well, you've just learned how to manage your depression. And like being like, well, what did you do during this time? Oh, you were looking at jobs, you were looking at tests you could take, you're like, you were being productive, you were giving yourself something to look forward to, you're giving yourself even a future, you know, because you are helping yourself. So I feel like when it comes to people and their success in their career, we're all dealing with mental health, we're all dealing with somebody died in our family, we're all dealing with, not all, but some people are dealing with health issues, some people are dealing with, you know, this and that and that. It's just like, can you keep going? Because if you crumble, that's it.
And then nothing's gonna get accomplished.
Nothing gets
that's
done.
Even worse. That's even something, you're gonna be even more depressed.
Yeah, you literally have to push through it. Like, and it's done so well for me. You know, that's my look at God. But I mean, I'll figure something out to say.
So are we doing look at God? No.
I mean, low key.
At the end, we'll do it. This is a good time for the commercial break.
And for me to go pee.
Yo, this is stayflythrash, owner of Thrash Style House in downtown LA, 112 West 9th Street, Unit 211. Our Instagram is at Thrash Style House, and our website is thrashstylehouse.com. We are a full-service menswear rental service for wardrobe stylists. So if you are a stylist and you have clients that need to get fresh, I'm the person to come to. And no matter the occasion, whether it's streetwear, whether it's formal, whether it's costume, we do it all. We can even do custom suiting, do custom designs. We do it all. Anything you can fathom, I can bring it to life. Again, that's stayflythrash. Our Instagram is at Thrash Style House, and our website is www.thrashstylehouse.com, and my personal Instagram is stayflythrash.
Hey guys, so we're back for some more conversation. Our second part of our show's, you know, called Each One, Teach One, where we drop a couple, you know, educational facts that we've learned in the industry through whatever field we've done that maybe some people don't know. I have a few small ones. I don't have like a big, large one, which we were talking about right before we started recording, is HR. So as a young person, my impression of HR was they're the people who help you get the job, and they're the people who you go to if you're having an issue at work, if you're having, you know, like someone's approaching you in a way that's inappropriate, that makes you uncomfortable, if you're being harassed.
Or like people are retaliating against you because you did something.
These are all HR issues, and for people who have worked in corporate, maybe some of you guys have reached out to HR. But let me tell you something. So HR, yes, they have that purpose. Just so you know, that is their purpose. They help you find jobs. They help you get situated in your job. And if there's an issue, you go to HR. They always say that, oh, I'm going to call HR, that little joke. But just so people can be aware, so that it doesn't blindside you when it does happen, sometimes HR is focused on keeping the company going and running, making sure the company is good. And so sometimes they're not going to be on your side. And I know that kind of sucks, but this American dream bullshit that they fed us, it ain't real. So you really do have to hustle for yourself. And if you find yourself in a situation where you've fallen off because some bullshit happened to you that wasn't fair, you can't just fall off and do nothing else, because that happened to me. And we talked about it on, I think, last episode or 2 episodes ago, the girl at my job that was harassing me.
Oh, yeah, the one talking about the devil.
Yeah, like, so, you know, shit happens. I mean, the world is crazy. So at this point, anything that happens, I'm like, that seems consistent with the way the world works. And so
right in line.
I was being harassed at my job, like, bad, you know, like where I was actually afraid for my life. And so I approached my manager first, because, you go to your manager, your supervisor, and you tell them, I'm having this issue, and, like, I feel uncomfortable, I feel unsafe, I feel harassed. And then they bring it to their supervisor, and then after all the reports are done, that's when it gets sent over to HR. In my situation, the company that I was working for was a small company, and so their budget isn't as large as like a City of Hope, which is a world-renowned and billion-dollar budget and all that stuff. They're a small company. Their budget is short. They had a merger and acquisition, which also means they needed money and couldn't. Well, in their situation, that's not always the situation. In their situation, they needed more financial support, because they weren't going to be able to continue to do like all these enzymatic reactions without having the money to buy the proteins and stuff like that. And it was a situation where I told what happened about my harassment, and a few weeks later, me and the girl who harassed me were laid off. And it was confusing, like, why me? Like, why did I get laid off? But when I look back at the actual situation, as I told you, it's a situation where the company could have got sued. So you always have to remember it is capitalism. It's it's their business. They can do what they want with their business. And if you read your contract, which most of us don't, if you read your contract, you'll notice that they are allowed at will employment, or I forgot what it's called.
At will employed.
Yeah. So which means they can drop you in a moment's notice too. And so I don't say this to scare people about HR and say, like, don't go to HR. Yeah, if you want to, go ahead. But at the end of the day, you cannot let things like that discourage you, because in the industry, a lot of sideways things are going to happen. My parents tell me stories about stuff. You cannot let it slow down your career. You cannot let it. That could have had me be like, I'm never going to do science again. And instead of giving up, I got a job at like a better hospital with more pay. So you just always have to remember not to give up. That was one thing. The only other thing that I was going to educate about was more things that I'm learning, especially with finance, since I got my degree in that. And it's always a growing experience. When you get your master's in finance, you learn more about ethics and you learn more about the structure of industry. It's less about accounting and finance and math and stuff like, even though that was definitely a part of it. And we have to be aware that if you look at the S&P 500 over the past like 10 or 20 years, you're going to notice that every 10 years the market does tank pretty bad. In 2008, we had that financial crisis and the housing crisis. If we look at the charts, the recession was supposed to start last year, which means the recession is going to start any moment. If you watch your stocks, or you watch the S&P 500 for people who don't have stocks, you'll notice that it dropped significantly over the past year, where I lost a significant amount of money. It wasn't mine. It was money I got from the market, but it was like I was ready to like take it home and be like, I made some money. And I can't, because the market tanked and now it's slightly going back up, but you can't really trust that. So times like this, me and Ashley always say, please save your money. I know it's hard not to floss. I know, I get it. Fashion Nova is there for a reason, so you don't blow all your money. So it's, save all your money. This is the time where the market is about to crash, which is the best time to buy stocks. You're going to want to get FANG stocks: Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. Facebook isn't doing great, but the rest of them are. Amazon is like the god of stocks right now. If you go on an app like Robinhood, you're going to have to buy the whole stock, which means if you're buying Amazon, you're going to have to pay the whole $1,300.
What's the other one?
But if you go where Ashley got me a gift, so Ashley got me a gift card to buy a stock for my birthday, because she knows me. She knows me. So Stockpile, I went on there. Yeah, I'm like, yes. Stockpile is an app that she got my gift card from, that I discovered, and they let you buy fractions of stocks. So I didn't want to spend $1,000 on Google, so I just took her $50 that she gave me, and now I own a section of Google. Obviously, you might just want to take this time to save your money so that when the market really does crash, you can buy the stocks. Also, when you're saving your money and you're considering a house, if you don't want to be paying homeowners insurance because you can't make the full 20% down payment, you're going to want to save that 20%. But also be in mind, my economics teacher did make me aware that during the recession, they're not just going to want to see a high credit score, which is over 750 is very acceptable. They're not just going to want to see that, but they're also going to want to see that you have a lot of money in your bank account, which is something that isn't typically required when the market is not in crises. So this is a time to save your money, plan out what type of house you want to be, just have money in that account, because that shit is going to mean everything. When the market is good, credit means everything. When the market is bad, cash means everything. So make sure that you have it in your hand. And something that I've been doing since I was a little kid, when we were all struggling with money, I buy things and I sell things. If I get a new cell phone, I sell my old cell phone, so I'm only paying a small difference. But at the same time, I'm gonna keep this iPhone 7 till it goes bad, until Apple fucks it up. You know what I'm saying? So come out. Yeah, so those are just little things to come in mind as I learn more about finance and the finance field and all the different sectors. I'll keep you updated. I always say like stocks that are piquing my interest, and since the market is crashing, nothing's piquing my interest.
Nothing's piquing.
But you know, like
at all.
Nothing's piquing.
I wanted to add though, I was reading some articles as I always do, and they were saying that the White House was they predicted that there would be an economic impact from the government shutdown, but it's worse than they predicted because the shutdown has been going on for so long. And then another thing I want to add is that when you're buying a house, get a fixed rate mortgage loan, not variable, because if you get variable, when the market crashes, they can increase your interest rates, and you ain't gonna have a motherfucking house if you're not able to afford your mortgage payment.
Right.
So I want to add that.
And another thing, if you can't afford to get nice furniture and you like the interior design, that is a great idea, because if you go on vacation for a month, you can now Airbnb in your house and make $100 a night.
I know where. Oh, that's what I would say, because I just moved. You could get furniture from places I didn't know you could get furniture, like fucking Costco. You could get furniture at Big Lots. They just had they're having 20% off sale today, and like their furniture is like from Ashley's Furniture and places like that. You can get furniture at Sam's Club. There's Wayfair app that like fucking floods your timeline on Instagram.
Okay.
Of course IKEA,
really
but there's like a lot of different places I didn't know you could buy furniture from, and then probably Amazon.
Amazon has everything. Yep. So let's be strategic. Do you guys have anything that you would like to tell the audience, teach the audience, or motivate the audience?
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna talk to the actors primarily, but it can go for a whole lot of creatives. Actors tend to, like what you were touching on as far as HR is at the best interest of the asset, like the actual business. You gotta think of yourself as a business. Think of yourself as the asset, and do what you have to do for your business to thrive. Stop thinking of yourself as this actor who's waiting on this casting director. Like actors tend to do a lot of stuff that makes themselves powerless, but it's with their own school of thought. Like they get caught up in like industry standard. Oh, it needs to be this blue backdrop. If I'm shooting an audition, it needs to be like this. It needs to be this. You don't read this way. You do it this way, that way. Like they don't give a fuck about none of that. They want you to be the right one for the job. That casting director is a business herself, and she's got contracts. He or she is trying to meet, and they're behind because that TV show or that movie just switched up a whole role on them. They were like, oh, instead of a white woman in her 40s, we want this role to be a elderly black person. So now she's like, what the fuck? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So she wants you to be the right person. So start getting in your head about industry standard, or like we didn't book it yet, but
speak it into existence.
Right. We just shot something in a hotel room, and it's way different from what an industry standard audition would be. Came in close during like the dramatic part of it. I didn't have the industry standard blue backdrop with the drone shot and all.
You talking about for the audition?
Yeah. And I bet I booked that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or I bet I get some kind of traction from it.
That's the type of confidence we need in our lives.
And that's what you need as an actor, because we keep like, I don't know why actors do that, or creatives, period. And he'll be able to speak a lot about that with doing art shows and the way artists tend to think, oh, I can't sell these tickets, or I won't be able to sell anything at the show, or I won't. It's like, now with that attitude, you know what I'm saying? Think of yourself as a business. Make those numbers line up and approach it with a business mindset, not always in a emotional, sentimental, your creative mindset.
It seems like you just don't put your emotions in the shit. Obviously put your love, which is an emotion, into it. But when you hear no's and when something falls apart, like we could have been, we had audio issues
for too long.
We could have been just like, man, fuck this shit. I dropped 800 yesterday and this shit don't fucking work. But we just kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going. Google. And eventually, and Google. And eventually it works. And it is that mentality that you have to have. You have to go get it for yourself. Like you can't be running around like hoping somebody is going to do that shit for you.
You got to. Because you're a business. You're just your own HR. You have a chief operating officer, a chief executive officer. You have an accounting office. All that. It might be you while you're just one person show until you're big enough to where you bringing people in, but you have all those needs.
Yeah. Sorry, that was.
It's from another podcast.
That's from another podcast. I know you're like, why the fuck did she just say Steven? And from one of a murder podcast we listened to.
Okay.
Steven is that guy who just like does everything. And so when their shit is falling apart, Steven fixes it. So we are always just like, Steven, because they yell his name like that.
It's like a MacGyver and shit.
Yeah. It's like, and that's the thing is one day you'll get to that point where it's like you have everything running for you, but you can't just expect it to start like that. And that's the unfortunate thing about very young kids nowadays, because they're growing up in the technology era. They really think shit gets handed to you because they're watching so many people get famous on Instagram for doing nothing. YouTube. They're watching people get rich. Yeah, people are getting rich off of YouTube.
Little kids are getting rich off of YouTube. Like that little boy that reviews toys.
He's the highest paid.
The fuck up.
Getting paid crazy just to review toys, man. And he's already a millionaire, I believe. Like,
yeah, I think he brings like $1 million. Like he grosses $1 million a year.
Crazy.
His parents is all in. Like,
you know,
all right, bro.
But I mean, Big Draco was the first one to pop up.
Yeah, Big Draco.
Respect Big Draco.
Make sure y'all respect. Hey, put some respect on Big Draco name, man. Respect Big Draco.
Showed y'all what this internet do.
For sure.
Man, seriously.
That's on me? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think I'd rather spend this time to like more so like you said fame, and I would much rather speak to that. Like I think one of the main reasons why like all of us are as confident as we are is because like we produce. So when you think about like production, and either whether it's an assembly line, like it take a team to do that. Like if you're in the like my family, some of my family is in the Detroit area, so I know about like production, assembly line. You know, it's like it's gonna be if it's 5 men on the line, one man do this, one man do that, the next man do that. And I think that from even with the couple of days that I've been here, and when we went to an event the other night, I just see how many people were attracted like to my boy Thrash and whatnot. But then when we came in there with him and stood over there, it was sort of was like, oh no, they were attracted to the energy, because it didn't matter which one of us it was. You know what I'm saying? They know Thrash for what they know him for, but the same type of eyes all three of us were getting, because they were just standing like around. You know what I'm saying? We weren't really doing much. And I bring that up to say, like, people gotta like, you'll get more confident the more you know like what you're doing is working. Like, not like a fake confidence. You know what I'm saying? Don't spend a lot of time dealing with fake confidence, because it's fake. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not real at all. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna fuck shit up for you more so than it's gonna help you. So like, you give off a vibe at an event. Well, you're at an event, you got business going, you should be networking. You shouldn't be giving a standoffish vibe. You know what I'm saying? But you're giving off the wrong vibe because you're such and such. Like you told me off camera about the people who have followings, but they feel like y'all need them. Like they want to come to y'all million podcast versus like there's something in the middle, like a middle ground for everybody. So I'm just really glad, you know what I'm saying, that my team of people that I work with and that I roll with, they feel the same way about themselves as I do about myself. And I think that like the self-value is really, really going to be how all of us make it, not the approval of other people. Like, I've never, like, once I moved to DC, and when I was a kid, like, we used to watch television all the time. So I used to be in love with like superstardom, fame, and all that. But when I grew up and moved to Washington, D.C. and found out what Washington, D.C. people believe when it comes to like celebrities and such, changed my whole perspective. I could give a fuck about any celeb. They're people. As a matter of fact, they're products, because I don't know any of them. So Kanye West to me is a product. Like he sells a shoe. I don't know him. He don't know me. He don't give a flying fuck about me. You know what I'm saying? So all of those things now to me are reality, because I made money in this industry. I like went outside and made money. My boy's done it. Like he's been on TV. Thrash has done all types of shit. So when we talk to each other, we find out what's real from what's fake. Yeah. And that's what I wanted to like say to like wrap my shit up. We know what's real versus what's fake. We know that just because you got 1.5 million followers, that you can have an event and the shit look crazy.
I already know.
You know what I'm saying? So
don't even look at me.
because I've come to LA and found out for myself, which is really why I got out here. I wanted to find out for myself what it was about, so that before I come out here and start making moves, I know like, okay, when we come out here and do this, we just do it and make sure that, you know, our shit's authentic as we would normally do. And you fake niggas, we'll just run you guys out. Like, we'll just run you guys away because it's worked in every state that we went, from Charleston to Thrash came here and did it. He went to Atlanta. We've done it separately. And now that we're all about to start coming back together, it's going to be a big fucking problem. Yeah. And it sounds like bullshit, but just give me about 1.5 years and you'll see.
I have that same mentality when I say things, when you say multiple things where people can't register that you could do all these things and make it happen. You say like, it sounds like I sound like I'm bullshitting you. I sound like I'm full of shit, and it's like
you ain't got to tell them nothing.
You ain't got to tell them shit.
It's just sometimes hard. It's sometimes hard when people ask me what I do. I'm like,
stuff.
A lot.
Yeah.
Or like when somebody puts you on the spot, like, oh, so what do you do for fun? Like you can't think about it.
Like hang out.
Fun?
Yeah. But
what are those?
this is a good time for our Look at God or ICU universe. So we call it ICU universe for people who don't believe in God because we love everybody. And so we find anything that we highlight that that was good this week or even past this week, beyond this week. For example, my Look at God was what I talked about earlier. Like when it comes to mental health, I was proud of myself to get out of a slump, because in the past I would fall into the slump and extend the slump instead of just being like, okay, I don't feel good, I feel anxiety, let me do things that are going to be fruitful to me. So let me do research. Let me find out what else I need to do for my chartered financial analyst exam. Let me find out what else I need to do to become a financial advisor. Let me find out what other part-time biochemistry jobs I can be working while doing finance. Let me find all these things that will be fruitful to me that are relative to my career was able to pull me out. And I think that I can't just say it's something easy, because it's not. And there's a lot of people dealing with real mental health who really need to see a doctor, who really need medication. But for people who have not tried to handle it on their own, or who have not had the willpower to handle on their own, I guess I'll be a small little testimony too. If you just believe that you will get through it, you will get through it. Just like when you're dealing with a death of a loved one, you feel like the world is ending and you actually feel like you'd rather be dead with them. And that's just how it is. But at the end of the day, you get through it. So even though that person is a memory in your heart, you're able to be a normal person functioning in society, happy, smiling, reaching your goals. Even though you have this bad thing that happened, you just have to get through it. And that is part of what life is. And God clearly didn't put us on earth to make shit easy. Like that's what I know. We were supposed to live from the land, and we
it was supposed to be easy.
We did the most.
We fucked it up.
We
fucked up.
I mean, black people didn't do shit. We were living from the land, and somebody took us. But I know that God wanted to. God.
That sounds crazy. We was chilling, and the niggas just showed up. Next thing you know, shit's fucked up. That's crazy.
And like God had a certain plan for us. God already knows our whole life, so He wants us to keep going, and the devil laughs and enjoys when we fall out and we do nothing with ourselves, and when we blame God, and when we we openly talk about God, because some are Christians, some aren't, but we love everybody. It's God knows where you're supposed to be, and the devil's trying to stop it. So you can't keep letting the devil win, which it is very hard. It might be miserable, but you just can't let the devil win. That's just the end of the day. You have to keep working, because God is still working for you. Jesus died on the cross for us.
she got that shit off too. She's like, and he died on the cross.
That was the best. Okay.
Okay. My Look at God, it happened outside when we got here. It's very embarrassing, but I was backing up trying to park in that spot, and I fucking hit this metal cone. Who makes cones out of metal?
She just got
it. I literally got it. It's almost a month. But there was this big metal cone outside, and my fucking camera was beeping, and I ignored it because I didn't see it, and I fucking knocked the fucking cone over, and I just knew.
And it's a heavy metal cone.
I knew there was gonna be a big orange fucking dent on the bumper of my car. I got out, it was a little fucking speck. I was like, yeah,
I can take it. I'll take that first L.
Whenever you get a new car, you're always gonna hit it somehow, somewhere.
Yeah.
With my last car, I fucking scraped fuck out the side of it the first week I had it. And I got it fixed maybe 6 months after, but this one wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But a more relevant Look at God, I had it. What was it? Oh yeah, I got a couch. Very simple, but I got a couch for my
Hey, niggas need couches.
Couches are serious.
Niggas need somewhere to sit.
For sure.
Couches are,
they're important.
They're when it comes to me furnishing my future house, they are the most searched thing in my notes.
You gotta love it.
You gotta have the right couch, and couches are expensive as hell. Yeah. So you have to really plan really well for that.
Costco got good prices.
Yeah.
That shit was
that girl's going up for Costco.
Yeah.
Shout out Costco, man.
Yeah. Do we have Costco stock? I buy gas there all the time.
I'm watching them, but I don't have their stock.
I think their stock is weak. That's why I didn't buy it.
No, I'm looking at it.
Okay, sorry, we're going off track.
Talk.
My Look at God, I think, would just be this moment, this.
I hate you. I hate you. I fucking hate you.
Like this, fuck more do you want? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is, like I said, y'all don't understand. Like, we linked up in college. Thrash was wide receiver, very talented at what you do. NFL ability for sure. So that's what the coaches would be harping on him and give a fuck about any of that. Like, style drove him. You know what I mean? And comes from a practical household where both of his parents are more blue collar. So it was never really, not that it wasn't an option for him, but it was just something that it's like, I don't know if I could do it. There's nowhere you can do that in Charleston, South Carolina. Like, there's not a lot of celebrities. There's not a lot going on as far as the style and fashion world. So he moved out here 7 years ago. So to see this, you see it on FaceTime and all that, which is cool. But then he touched down this weekend. I've been here going on a week. So I've been here working, reading scripts, phone hustling, yelling at people on the phone, all that type of shit. So every time I walk in, it's still chills, it's still goosebumps. Like, this is what we talk about. We like, what is free? This is ownership in your entrepreneurship. Yeah. My dog owns 95% of the stuff in here. That's the other 5% is companies that expect them to return it, but even there's love there. You see what I'm saying? That relationship. The logo is on the window, on the door as soon as you walk in. Like, that's free. That's freedom. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you just got to take these moments and appreciate the fact that what we're building is coming to fruition. It's like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying? And what we're building with our day ones and this kingdom that we're setting up, it's all love. And this is inspiring us. Like, this is giving us all type of ideas and notions of put in that work, and then you'll have yours. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
When I catch you on TV, I'll put it on my Instagram story like, so, you know, like, I know him.
That's funny. Or for people that be like, oh, he's so funny. Like, I touched you, bitch. He's my friend. Does he know your name?
Is he on the podcast?
No, he wasn't.
That's funny.
Fantastic. And what's your look at God?
He's scrambling now.
Like, fuck me up.
Yeah, you gotta think of some.
Well, honestly, like, I'm just gonna say this. I appreciate God for waking me up this morning. But like,
amen.
Because last night was a long night.
Yeah, last night was a long. But like, after that, like, I think it's a story in the Bible. I'm not like the biggest biblical nigga at all. Yeah. But I know there's a story in the Bible where God like gives like these niggas these seeds. Like, it gives them like 3. Each man gets a seed. And, like, you plant it and you do it. You plant it, you do it. And he gave them all the same seed, but one guy was more successful than the rest of them. It mustard seed. So when I think about that, like, in general, I just think about that like in life. So God ain't out here like right now, like, yo, he like, yo, I dropped you off here. I gave you good common sense. So I expect you to do the right thing with the sense that I gave you. So my look at God is just more so I appreciate him waking me up. I appreciate him like being health, wealth, and all that stuff that we need to be alive. But in regards to like I wouldn't say look at God. I guess what's the other one?
I see you universe.
I see universe. I would more so speak to the I see universe in regards of thank you for like our hard work. Like, that's why I look at this venue being here because this is an example of hard work, like of our hard work. Because even though this Thrash Style House, all of us played a part in Thrash having this Style House. Like, needing something when he didn't have it and one of us was there for him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or if Angelo needs something when neither one of us is there, we can have his back. Like, this is really like a village type ordeal, and it's dope that it's happening. So I can only piggyback off what Angelo said. Like, we really look at, you know, the universe, God, whoever you believe in. Like, shit's real, and it can really go down. And we glad y'all shot this for us. You know what I'm saying? We glad we were able to partner with y'all. We also wanted to do this before shit got too crazy for us as well. And that way, if we popped in, now y'all, you know what I'm saying? It's like we wanted to make sure it happened both ways. So.
And we always have in the back of our mind, like, bringing people back a year or two later. And like, let's see where we are now.
A year later, this
oh, yeah. This only been 10.
You can't even say
a year, shit. Yeah, it might not. This shit might be over there somewhere in a year, the way we get down. Yeah, so. We coming to LA soon though, since I'm gonna drop some shit. We're gonna be out here real soon. We're gonna start hosting events.
I know, we'll be here.
Yeah, events and dinners. We're gonna host like some flyer shit that LA can catch. Probably some doper shit for y'all to do.
I need help with fashion.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, shit.
He
here, Thrash here.
Like, my clothes are packed, so I couldn't pick out stuff. But I was like, don't talk about me when I come here. It's like my clothes, my outfit.
That fur coat was kind of
me.
Yeah.
That's my shit.
Hip style.
Go with me.
Came like with the pen.
For real.
She said she gonna need that fur coat, bro, for the day.
Yeah, let me hold that.
For the day?
Yeah.
Let me hold that.
$4 a day.
That's easy.
For $5. Quick event, real quick, and just come through, like, got style.
Word.
But thank you guys so much for coming on our show.
No
we
problem.
greatly appreciate it.
Give us the book.
Yeah.
This our collective look at God.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Man, Thrash, the sartorial rock star. It's got a book. It's just a sample. You can pre-order online, find out all his motivation, get some of your own. Look at that drip.
Look at that drip right there.
Don't show them all that shit. You gotta buy the book first, goddamn.
Make him get it.
Yeah, right.
Make him get it. You know how they do it.
But nah, this is surreal, bro. Much love, bro.
Yeah,
Hella
for real,
proud.
for real,
Tina
man.
is hella proud of you right
Yeah.
now. For real, man. Facts. Pre-order that. Stay Fly Thrash on IG, spelled THRASH. Get that. Pre-order that.
Yeah,
Right
we'll
now.
put all that in our description too, so you guys can just click, boom,
Hey.
and you're gonna be right there.
There we go.
And so, drop your social media again one
Yes.
time.
That sounds better when you say it. Can you say it one more time?
We'll say what?
cubagawd.
Oh, cubagawd. You can find Angelo's
It sounds better when
cubagawd
you say it. Keep it going.
on Instagram.
That is funny.
CUBAGAWD Gawd.
Hey.
You know,
Look at God.
look at Gawd.
My personal is at Franck Mille, FRANCK_MILLE. The squad is at Pretty Fly Society. I mean, if you can't spell Pretty Fly Society, it's Pretty Fly Society spelled properly. And then my creative platform is at CreateCan. That's CR8 and then CAN.
That's so funny that you say spelled correctly. Like we have to tell people that.
You do.
Yeah, that was
How'd you spell pretty? PRETI?
Yeah,
Two
like you
eyes?
spell it the
Like
right
two
way or the
eyes.
wrong way.
You switched that bitch up, didn't you? Oh, wow.
But yeah, but just so you guys know, you can find us on Apple Podcasts. Just search Young and Gettin Podcast. There is no G at the end of Gettin, like we say on every episode. Please subscribe, rate, and review. You can also find us on SoundCloud.com/WeAreYAGIP. Please follow, comment. We love all the comments we get on there. We're also on YouTube. Just search Young and Gettin Podcast. There's no G at the end of Gettin. Please subscribe. We're also on Spotify, Young Gettin Podcast, Google Play, Young Gettin Podcast, Stitcher, Young Gettin Podcast, and Pocket Cast, Young Gettin Podcast.
Yeah. You run that shit. Run it down, man. Run it down, shit. Run it down, man.
That's that shit right there.
God damn it.
You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at YAGI_podcast. We have our website, www.weareYAGIP.com. You can also hit us up on our email. Oh, wait, hold up. I forgot Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook.com/YAGIPOD. Hit us up on our website. Oh, wait, I already said that. Hit us up on our email, guys. AshleyandNinaPod@gmail.com. Or hit us up on our Google Voice number, 323-486-3811.
You nigga in jail that keeps calling us.
Stop. Stop.
Oh, shit.
Just fucking email. Okay?
I know, email us.
Email us.
You guys got iPads in jail. Stop lying.
He probably needs some money on his books. He can't.
Pen pal like shit, boy.
No, he can call us. He's fine.
No, he's just lonely.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of the Young and Gettin Podcast. Thank you to all of our special guests.
Thank you.
Warming my heart.
Yeah.
Cold little heart.
Great conversation, fun times, and hopefully, we move the culture forward just a little
Yeah,
bit.
we
Good
definitely-
coffee. Shout
we
out to the
definitely-
coffee.
Yeah,
great coffee.
coffee.
It was tremendous.
See y'all later.
Yeah.